this is an Avondale Dart 472. Just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll demonstrate these to you in person here on site. Front locker is a storage area on this particular Caravan. You can open it up when you've got both locks open, and that will allow the locker to come forward. On the side of the Caravan you've got your water pump connection, which screws into the side of the Caravan. As you can see here, you release it by unscrewing it. It'll also drain the water system down. You can then put the cap back in when you've finished using the water system, but like I said, you need to unscrew it prior to travelling. And the water pump itself, or the pickup pipe, drops down inside the aqua roll. Heating and hot water flow on the outside of the Caravan. The cover that it normally sits on here, you'd remove prior to igniting anything on gas inside of the Caravan. Down the bottom here you have your wind down legs on either side of the front to stabilise the Caravan while it's on site, and they are just there for stabilising the van, not lifting the Caravan. So the water pump connection, like I said, screws in. I'll show you how to fill the water system once we go inside of the Caravan. You've then got your gas locker in this locker on the side, with your gas regulator on the side of the van. We do have the gas pipe work available here on site should you need it. 2 gas bottle tie downs in the locker. Very simply, you can put your 6 kg propane gas bottles in and then use the strap to tie them into place. You can carry a maximum of 2 6 kg propane gas bottles at any time. Motor mover and wheel nuts, we'll actually demonstrate the motor mover here on site, and we'll also torque the wheel nuts to the correct setting prior to you leaving site with the van. Also on the side of the Caravan we have our 2 grey waste pipes. So at the front of the Caravan you've got your fresh water that goes into the van. And on the side here you have 2 bits of grey pipe that go into the larger diameter holes, and they'll drop down inside of your waste master, so that the dirty water from the sinks and the shower can come out of the van. Back of the Caravan on this side you have your toilet flush tank. The tank here takes 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. Then in the bottom you have your toilet waste cassette, which you release by pulling up the yellow handle and pulling the cassette towards you. You do need to make sure the flap inside is shut before you can do that. The neck here turns out so you can tip the waste away, and the yellow cap is a measure for your pink and blue fluid. On the back of this cassette there is actually a yellow pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. On the rear of the Caravan on the other side you've got the wind down legs to stabilise the van. Like I said, they're only there for stabilising, they are not there for lifting the Caravan. Coming down the door side, you've got your 2 fridge vents behind the door. They'll simply allow hot air to come out the back of the fridge unit and take some cool air in, and behind one of these there'll also be a gas flue for the fridge system. Then got your 100 amp leisure battery in here. That battery will be coming off, sorry, because that is just a demonstration battery, and we've got the mains power lead coming into the side of the van, so you can see everything is operating as it should. Going inside the Caravan now. First thing you need to do is come over to the control panel on the far side of the Caravan. Now you'll see here that we have a power switch. You've got power off in the centre, car for when you're towing down the road, so you need to put it on car as you're towing, and you have van at the bottom. That actually means Caravan, not van, so you put the switch down to the bottom and that will allow the Caravan to run off the 12 volt system on board the van. Have your water pump switch just here. Water pump off when you first come into the Caravan, or is how it should be. Then we'll fill the water system up in a moment and I'll demonstrate how that works. So to fill the water system on board the Caravan, you first of all going to need to come underneath the seat on the front right hand side of the van. You have a yellow drain down valve underneath the seat. That yellow drain down valve needs to be parallel with the floor prior to filling the water system up, and when you need to drain the water system down it needs to be upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat. So like I said, parallel with the floor prior to turning on the taps or the water pump. Once you've got the tap underneath the seat, parallel with the floor, you can then come over to the taps on board the Caravan and open them all up on the hot side, and then turn on the water pump. The water pump will allow the Caravan water system to fill up, and when the water system is completely full you'll have water running out of every tap on board the Caravan. At that point you can shut all of the taps back off, and you'll be able to then start warming the water on board the van. So underneath the seat on the front right hand side, just here, you actually have your electric water heater switch. So it's a bit like a water heater at home, submersion heater or immersion heater. I'll flick the switch on. The water heater will warm up to the preset temperature, which is around 40 to 45 degrees. But you can also warm the water on gas. So as you can see, water heater is running on electric, but when you're showering on board the Caravan, would advise that you use the gas to power the water heater as well. Now the water heater on gas is very simple to use. You spin the dial around to the flame symbol. It will self-ignite on gas. If it fails to ignite, you'll get a red light in here. If it ignites, you get a green light. And you can actually control the water temperature on gas between 30 and 70 degrees, depending on where you want the temperature to be. You'll set the temperature that you want it to be above the green light. You can turn off the water heater by turning it around to the off position just here. We then move on to the actual heating for the Caravan. Now you can do this in two different ways. You can use either gas or electric to heat the Caravan. I'm going to go to the electric switch first. So on this dial on the wall on the front left hand side, you've got this ultra heat dial. Now if you're on mains power, you can select either 500, 1000 or 2000 watts. It will depend on what site you're on to what you can set this to. And you have the dial here in the centre between 1 and 9 to select the temperature of the heater. Like I said, depending on what site you're on, you can either set it to the 500, 1000 or 2000 watts. And it's very simple to do just by spinning this dial on the outside and controlling the temperature of the heater on the dial in the centre. On top of the heater, you've actually got a gas control for the gas heating on board the Caravan. You spin the dial around like you would on the side of your gas barbecue, hold down the gas valve and hit your igniter. Once it ignites on gas, you'll have a pilot light through this window at the front, and once that's lit, you'll hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds, then slowly release the valve and control the temperature of the heater on the dial on top. Next up is the fridge. Now the fridge is very simple to use again. You've got gas as a power source, and the fridge will self-ignite on gas as long as the gas is turned on. If it fails to ignite, the orange light in that window there will start flashing. If it ignites, it will go green. You can control the temperature on gas on this dial on the right hand side. Now the thicker the bar is, the cooler the fridge will be. 230 volt mains. Again, green light means the fridge is active and working as it should. And you'll be able to control the temperature on that dial on the right hand side. If you connect it to the car and you're towing down the road, you'll actually be able to use the 12 volt system from the car you're towing with to chill the fridge. Now it will only work as a cool box, it won't work as a fridge as such. So you'd have to spin this dial around to the 12 volt mode once you connect it to the car. And like I said, the fridge will allow you to work it as a cool box so you can get the beers and wine nice and cold. You do have a lock on top of the fridge here, so you can lock the door from opening when you're travelling. So the black dot on this side, if it's pushed across that way, will allow the fridge door to be locked so it won't open up. The cooker works on your gas supply from the gas bottle in the front locker. Works very much the same as your household. You will need a handheld lighter to ignite the gas system, as the cooker doesn't have one built in. Last thing we go through on this particular Caravan is the toilet system. Very simple to use. You've got a pump flush on the toilet, so you pump the handle up and down to flush the toilet system. You have a toilet full indicator light on the right hand side here that lets you know when the toilet waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself actually turns for your convenience, as you can see here. However, when you're removing the cassette from underneath the van, the toilet seat needs to be square on with the back of the toilet. If it's not, it'll actually stop you from removing that cassette due to the fact it has a lockout tab on the bottom. One other thing to remember is if the waste handle down below the toilet is actually open, so that's closed at the moment, if it's in this position, again it will stop you from removing that cassette from under the van. The reason being again is it has a lockout tab on it, so the cassette can't be pulled out. The toilet seat itself, like I said, in the central position will allow you to remove that cassette from underneath so you can empty the waste out of it. If you have any further questions on the Avondale Dart 472, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your Caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.